The live stream is up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
All right.
We still have another few minutes.
Yes.
So how was your trip to India?
Oh, yeah. It was very hectic. Couldn't do anything actually. So just when there, because I need to help Kasturis, and so it was, in a way, I was able to, go stay with my mom for
Yeah.
a few days.
Health everybody's.
Yeah. A lot. And I will send an email.
Okay. ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ ಪ್ರಿಯನಾಥ್. ನೀವು ಮ್ಯೂಟಲ್ಲಿ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ? ಮ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ? ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. I was so happy to see you in Chicago.
So did we. I wish we had more time to talk.
And I know I'll come back and then.
Please do.
Yeah.
You're always welcome and we look forward to it.
Thank you.
Settle Adra?
Just settling.
Okay. Well,
Yeah. I'm here in Orlando. ನಮ್ಮ ಸುಹಾಸಿನಿ ಮನೆ.
ನೋಡಿದ್ರೆ ಮನೆ ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ಗ್ರೌಂಡ್ ಗೊತ್ತಾಗ.
ಅದೇ ಮನೆ ಆಯ್ತು. ಅದೇ.
Very good.
So I'll move in probably ಎಲ್ಲ ಮೂವ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಶಾಸ್ತ್ರ ಆಯ್ತು. Probably over the weekend ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಹಿಂದೆ ಮಾಡಿಯ ಮೇಲೆ ಹತ್ತಕ್ಕೆ ಬದಲಾಗಿ I'll go walk across in the back ಅಷ್ಟೇ.
That's very good.
Yeah.
Next.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Sanat Kumar is there. Yes. ಲಕ್ಷ್ಮಿ ಹುಷಾರಾಗಿದ್ದಾರಾ?
ಬರ್ತಾರ ನಿಮಿಷ.
Yeah. She is the theme today.
ಅದೇ ನೋಡಿದೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ. ಆಚಾರ್ಯರ ಮೇಲೆ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ? ರಾಮಾನುಜಾಚಾರ್ಯ.
Yeah.
ರಾಮಾನುಜಾಚಾರ್ಯರ ಮೇಲೆ.
Ramanujacharya was done. Raghavendra Swami was done. So.
ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ.
ಇದಾ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಆಡಿಯೋನಾ?
ಇಲ್ಲ,
ವಿಡಿಯೋ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇಲ್ವಾ?
ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ.
ನಮಸ್ತೆ ಮೃದುಲಾಜಿ.
Sagar Garu has joined her.
Yeah.
Narayan.
Sagar Garu, I hope.
Narayan, I think so.
Narayan ji is not here.
Okay, he will be there probably. He'll probably do some. Hope he knows about it. So.
Yeah. We sent multiple texts and email and all that. So. We have another couple of minutes.
Yeah.
సనత్ బాగున్నారా మీరు?
బాగున్నా సార్. నమస్కారం. కాశీ ఎట్లా ఉన్నాడు? మిమ్మల్ని చూసిన చాలా సంతోషం. కాశీ చూశాను. సో అందరూ
స్పీకింగ్ ములకనాడు తెలుగు తెస్తున్నా.
సరే సార్. లేస్తున్నారు. థ్యాంక్ యూ. నేను ఎప్పుడు కాశీ జట్లో తెలుగులోనే మాట్లాడదు.
అవును.
ಬರ್ತಾ
ಬರ್ತಾರೆ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ ಅವರು.
We are getting a thing from Parthiban, so
Yes.
same thing, yeah.
अश्वथ जी नमस्कार.
Namaste, Mishra ji. Welcome.
Thank you. Vijaynath ji नमस्कार.
Namaskar.
डॉक्टर साहब नमस्कार.
Namaskar. sir.
प्रतिभान जी नमस्कार.
Yeah, you said no, that's why Rani said put up there Rani got that in here. You know better. I should Rani was there right from that class. That's okay. I don't judge it too, so. Yeah, maybe I put it on sleep. No, you didn't do that. So why don't you take that? So then we can. Okay, but I don't sleep, but only sort of like, if you look at 9:39 to 7. Only I don't know ask you, so you said, okay, fix it there. Okay, thank
Namaskaram.
you. Bye.
Namaskaram. Guru
Namaskar to everybody. Namaskar.
नमस्कार डॉक्टर विद्यासागर.
Namaskar, Mishra ji. Namaskar.
Singh,
Kenneth, how are you?
Yeah, not bad, sir. Mere ఎలా ఉన్నారు సార్? మీరు ఎలా ఉన్నారు సార్? నమస్కారం.
Meeraya.
భగవంతుని దయ సార్. స్టార్ట్ చేస్తామా? 8 o'clock అయింది. స్టార్ట్ చేస్తామా?
Yes, go ahead.
So I request everybody to please mute and
అగజానన పద్మార్కం గజానన అహర్నిశం అనేకదం
Hello, this is Narayan. Sorry.
భక్తానాం ఏకదం తముపాస్మహే. భారత అమెరికా పుణ్యభూమ్యౌ నమో నమః. సహనా భవతు సహనౌ భునక్తు సహ వీర్యం కరవావహై. तेजस्विनामधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै. ओम शांति शांति शांति. From here on, I'm going to hand over the mic to our president, Sri Narayan, Thirumalai Narayan. Namaskaram, sir. Thirumalai, sir.
I'm sorry for the delay. I had
No delay. Everything is perfect. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So we are going to start an exciting the Arbiter Lakshmi topic today. It's a very interesting one, and Ramanuja has given a lot of weightage to Lakshmi, and the moksha is through Lakshmi only. I'm hoping we are going to cover all those items. I'm excited to listen to that portion of that. And incidentally, we had a great program over the weekend, and thanks for the Hindu Dharma Committee, everybody to participate and made it a successful one. About 125 people attended. Thanks, Sanat ji, and all the people who generously donated. And Sagar uncle gracefully came and concluded the program. It was very nice, memorable one. Hope we will have one concluding session this year with Ashwat ji towards the end of the year. Over to Sagar uncle, you want to take it now, or you would like to do that at the end as a concluding one? If not,
I'll
we'll
say
do
at the
that.
end. Let's
Thank
not-
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll hand it over to Ashwat Garu, our Guru. Namaskar, Guruji. Please take over.
Namaste. Thank you very much for having me. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. I request everybody to please mute. Om. Namaste, dear friends. Thank you all and the Sanatana Dharma Committee and the Hindu Temple of Greater Chicago for continuing to invite me every month. And this is the 19th month, Ishwara's Kripa, that all of us have consistently studied the Sanatana Dharma, various aspects of Sanatana Dharma. And then today is the 19th one, and These presentations have given me a great blessed opportunity to contemplate on the wisdom of our rishis, in enormous, inexhaustible wisdom of our rishis. Today's topic is, as Sri Narayanan mentioned, is also very, very close to my heart. The topic of Shrihi. Shrihi is generally translated as wealth, and Shrihi is the Devi. She's also known as Lakshmi, and then she is looked up as the consort of Mahavishnu. And without the grace, as Sri Narayanan said, without the grace and blessing of Mahalakshmi, neither dharma is possible nor moksha is possible, and much less arthakama is possible. Without her grace, there can be no wealth either, even material wealth. We need to have the blessings of Mahavishnu and Mahalakshmi, of course. So let's first look at how our sages define the term Lakshmi. The word Lakshmi is a derivative of the Sanskrit word Lakshya. Lakshya means that which points to. Lakshya also is a symbol. So the sages define Lakshmi as Jnana, Aishwarya, Sukha, Arogya, Dhana, Dhanya, Jayadikam. Lakshayasya samudishtaha Sa Lakshmi iti nigadyate. Sa, that Devi, Lakshmi iti nigadyate, is called as Lakshmi because she is worshipped and she is the one who actually points out to us. How do I know that something is wealthy, something represents wealth? In fact, a particular wealth may be right in front of my eyes, under my nose. I may not be able to recognize that it is wealth. So we need the grace of Mahalakshmi to show that. And material wealth, of course, is perceptible through our sense organs. But what about knowledge? Many times, jnana is right around the corner, right at our hand. It is so easily available, but we don't recognize it because there is nobody to point out that this is jnana, and that energy, that shakti, which points out a certain aspect of jnana, and this is worthy of acquiring, is the hallmark of Lakshmi. And so also Aishwarya. And what about Sukha? What about comfort? How do I know that I'm comfortable? Even when there is comfort, how do I know I'm comfortable? Somebody, some force, some energy has to evoke in me that sense of comfort. That sense of comfort is that from Mahalakshmi. So Jnana, number one, Aishwarya, actually wealth, material wealth, number two, Sukha, comfort, health, Arogya, wealth that does not leave us. That once it comes to us, it will not leave. That is called Dhana. And Dhanya, all the food and food-related possessions. Success in our endeavors, Jaya, 7 aspects are pointed out by Mahalakshmi, and therefore, because she points out all these Lakshya, we actually call this energy, this spirit, this Devi as Lakshmi. So how does Lakshmi manifest? In several forms of wealth. Our Shastra identifies 8 forms of them. That is why it's called as Ashtalakshmi. There is a beautiful legend. In this legend, in ancient Bharata, there was a righteous, virtuous, valorous king. He was extraordinarily powerful. His kingdom was very, very prosperous. All the subjects lived in dharma. They lived peacefully, they lived productively, and they lived happily. Because yatha raja tatha praja. As the king is, so will the subjects will be. So that was the high prosperity of the kingdom under our hero. And why was that? It is because he was a very ardent devotee of Lakshmi in all the 8 forms. And every day he offered puja and homa to them. Every morning he would not start his day without offering his oblations to the Ashtalakshmi. There is something to be said about time. Time has the power of changing everything. It changes the good, it changes the bad, it changes everything. And Kala does not allow anything to remain as it is, because it devours everything. There is a beautiful saying in Mahabharata, in the Stri Parva. Vidura tells Dhritarashtra, because Dhritarashtra was completely blind to the future. So Vidura tells him, Kala pachati bhutani. Kala cooks every being. Kala samharate prajaha. When the time comes, it destroys all the living beings. Kala supteshu jagarti. Time is awake when everything else sleeps. Is there one entity that is ever awake? It is time. Kala supteshu jagarti. Kalo hi duratikramaha. One can never conquer time. And that brings us a little bit of an urgency into our understanding the subject matter of today, Mahalakshmi. So for many years, the kingdom, the king and his children, every praja were very prosperous and they were very secure also. But time always comes bringing decline. An enemy army attacked the kingdom and was rapidly gaining victory. The enemy army had almost reached the palace. That morning, as was his everyday routine, our king was performing his puja. The first of the 8 Lakshmis, Adi Lakshmi, the form that bestows peace and tranquility, came up to him and said, O Rajan, it is time for me to leave you. Please think for a moment. When difficulties come, what is the first thing that we lose? We lose our peace of mind. We become stressed. Adi Lakshmi represents Shanti, peace. But the king replied, Mother, prostrations to you. Thank you for staying with me all these years. You have given me the most wonderful tranquility and peace for all these decades. I understand that time changes. It cannot be the same. Even mental peace is unstable. I understand that. My salutations to you. You may leave me. Then it was Mahalakshmi. Mahalakshmi represents wealth. Mahalakshmi came and said, I want to leave you. Friends, imagine what happens when there is a war. in any country at any time, doesn't it empty the treasury? So the next thing that happened was the treasury was becoming empty. And so obviously Mahalakshmi had no presence there. And then our king says, prostrates before her and says, "Thank you, Devi, you may go." Then it was Dhanya Lakshmi. Another thing that happens is a depletion of our food grains also. Dhanya Lakshmi, he let him go. Vidya Lakshmi, in times of extraordinary stress, in times of extraordinary difficulty, all the skills, all the knowledge that we have acquired becomes useless. Friends, please consider the most brilliant of the brains. Suppose the person gets Alzheimer's, what happens? All knowledge, a repository of knowledge. The person even doesn't know that he has created so much in his lifetime. He loses. So Vidya Lakshmi also will leave in times of stress, in times of sickness. Then it was strength. Another thing that happens in difficulty is strength. Gajalakshmi left. Then the seventh, Vijayalakshmi, fame, name, kirti, pratishtha left. King thanked each and every one of them and bid farewell. Finally, it was the turn of the eighth form of Lakshmi, Dhairya Lakshmi. Dhairya Lakshmi, the goddess of courage and valor. She came to our king and said, "Son, it is now for time for me to leave." What do you think the king did? He fell at her feet. "Mother, I beg of you, please do not leave me. Without you, without dhairya, without courage, I cannot exist." Dhairya Lakshmi is one we will never allow to leave us. Have you ever wondered why we decorate our homes with torana, and why we decorate our threshold with haridra kunkuma? Haridra is turmeric powder and kunkuma, red vermilion powder. Have you wondered why we do that? Have you wondered why we don't step on the threshold but we cross over on the threshold? Because Lakshmi is in the threshold of our homes. That is why we decorate our door with the torana. And then we pray every day. Yasa Padmasanastha Vipula Katidati Padmapatrayatakshi Gambhira Vartana Bhistanavaranamita Shubhravastrottariya Lakshmi Divyaihi Gajendraihi Manigana Khachitaihi Sthapita Hemakumbhaihi. Of course, all of those things are extolling the nature of Lakshmi. But here is why we make sure that this Lakshmi will never desert us. Nityam sa padmahasta mama vasatu gruhe sarva mangalya yukta. May that Mahalakshmi Nityam, every single day, every single moment, may she reside in my home with all glory. Sarva mangalya yukta. And when we enter our house, we also chant a beautiful shloka. Sarasijanilaye, Saroja haste, Dhavalataram Ankusham Gandha Malya Shobhe, Bhagavati Harivallabhe Manojne, Tribhuvana Bhuti Kari Prasidamakyam. These two mantras actually represent the most important Lakshmi that we want, which is Dhairya Lakshmi, because Dhairyam Sarvatra Sadhanam. Courage is the one with which we can achieve anything. So who is this Lakshmi? How does she look like? Our sages in deep meditation have discovered Lakshmi is Hiranyavarna. That's why the beautiful Sri Sukta starts with the Hiranyavarnam Harinim. So the word meaning of Hiranya is gold colored. But there is a deeper meaning for this word Hiranya. Hiranyam Vishnurakyatam. Hiranya means Vishnu. Tasya Varnastu Vaishnavam. Varna here means Shakti, power. So when we use the phrase Hiranyavarna to represent Lakshmi, it means Mahalakshmi with Vaishnavi Shakti, which is equal to Lakshmi. And that Hiranyavarna Lakshmi Vasatu Mama Grihe Sarvamangalya Yukta. Always may she be in my home. So this Lakshmi is considered as Vaishnavi Shakti. There are many legends in our Puranas as to what is this Vaishnavi Shakti, what is this power of Vaishnavi Shakti. One of them, which is from the Shakta tradition. Shakta tradition is worship of Devi as the focus. Hopefully, when a chance comes in this series, we will talk about Shakta and Tantra also as part of the Sanatana Dharma series. So this in the traditional worship, this Shakti is believed to have emanated from the Shivalinga after 5 nights of worship. Night means Ratri. Sanskrit 5 is Pancha. So in the Pancharatra tradition, the Pancharatra tradition is one of the methodologies used in the Sri Vaishnava Tantra worship tradition. That tradition actually relates to the legend of the great Daksha Yajna. As you, as earlier also has spoken about Daksha Yajna, there's this great Yajna in which Shiva was denied any importance, much less importance, even the entry when his representative Veerabhadra attacks and destroys the Yajna, the Yajnagni, the fire of the Yajna, the sacred fire, it started running away to escape the wrath of Shiva, assuming the form of a deer. Then Shiva catches the deer in his hand, and this that he caught is also called as the Vaishnavi Shakti, and Shiva came to be known as a Saranga Pani. Saranga in Sanskrit means deer. So this preamble points to the great hymn from the Rigveda called the Sri Sukta. Sukta means well said, well composed. The chanting, the meditation, the prayer, the japa, and the homa, 5 ways in which we worship Lakshmi of Sri, gives us the blessing and presence of Ashtalakshmi. So, whenever you think of Sri Sukta, I am reminded of my visit to Badrikashrama in Badri. Even now, if you go to Badri, 24/7, Sri Sukta is being chanted constantly in Badrikashrama. If you go to Tirupati, the Vaikhanasa tradition of worship is there. There are 2 methods of worship in Sri Vaishnava tradition. One is called Vaikhanasa, another is called Pancharatra. Sri Ranga follows the Pancharatra tradition. Tirupati follows the Vaikhanasa tradition. In the Vaikhanasa tradition in Tirupati, the Purusha Sukta, Narayana Sukta, Sri Sukta, Bhu Sukta, and Nila Sukta. These are called Pancha Suktas. These Panchasutras in Tirupati are chanted thrice a day, 3 times a day. So,
Our temple follows Pancharatra.
okay.
Rama temple. Thank you.
So the HTGC follows Pancharatra tradition.
Pancharatra, yes.
Yes, yes. So one of these days we will also talk about the two traditions. So now let's turn our attention to the definition of the sound Shri. Classical Vedanta and Veda definition of Shri is there. Shrunati Nikhilan Doshan. One who slices away all defects in us is Lakshmi. Usually we expect Lakshmi wealth to corrupt us. That is Alakshmi. We will come to that in a moment. Shrunati Nikhilan Doshan, one who slays away all the defects. One definition. Shrunati cha gunaihi jagat, who delights the world with her noble qualities. After all, wealth does delight everyone. Shriyate cha akhilaihi nityam, one who provides refuge and security to all. These are all very intuitive, but it is put in beautiful Sanskrit by our sages. Shriyate cha paramparam, who is held by the Parama Purusha. That means worship of Lakshmi is a direct access to the Parama Purusha Mahavishnu. So prayer to Shri, especially through the Shri Sukta, we are talking about Shri as the arbiter of Dharma. So having defined what Shri is, now let us see how, because of the grace of Shri, it takes us to the next step of attaining Dharma, and how she becomes an arbiter of Dharma, because it starts from material wealth. Material wealth which has been acquired in proper way, then Shastra says, Dhanat Dharmam. Invariably, when we earn wealth in a very, very upright manner, there is always an inspiration to do charity. Dhanat Dharmam. Tatas Sukham. What is the next step in the algorithm? Tatas Sukham. One gets comfort. Then what happens? Tataha apakshayaha. All our negativity is going to be weakened. Tatas chitta shuddhihi. Then we get clarity in our mind. Tataha prajna. Then that is wisdom. And that wisdom is none other than moksha. You can see dhana, Shri leads to dharma, dharma leads to 3, sukha, sukha leads to 4, reduction of papa, leads to 5, clarity of our mind, leads to 6, wisdom, and a 7th, and a final is obviously liberation. So Shri symbolizes how to identify that I have Shri and I have known I do possess Shri. How do I know that? For that now our Shastra says there are 8 indicators, 8 metrics to say that I am possessing, I am having Shri. First and foremost is food. And therefore this food is associated with Bhuhu. That's why invariably we chant the Bhu Sukta along with the Shri Sukta. Because Bhuhu represents food. Do you have enough food? That means Lakshmi's grace is there. Are we satisfied with our learning? By and large, yes. So Vidya, that means she is there. Preeti, do I have affection, friendship, love? There are people who want to be in my company. That is the presence of Lakshmi. Is there any good name that has accrued to me? Kirti, Do I feel peaceful? Shanti. Am I contented? Tushti. Do I have strength and nourishment? Pushti. Shrihi symbolizes all these. So what she does is Lakshayati sarvam sada iti Lakshmi. Lakshayati means points out. So the presence of Lakshmi is when she points out, I have enough food, I have some peace of mind I have got, I'm strong and well nourished. And she's constantly watching over, because I am a devotee of Mahalakshmi, and making sure that she makes sure that she is visible to me. Little bit of grammar, Sanskrit grammar. Let's take the two letters La and Ksha. How does these two words originate? One is called Lash Labhat, because there is a profit. Then Lash Lakshanat, that which has got an identification mark such as food, knowledge, strength, materials, etc. Then Laps, which actually makes us pursue this wealth. La means dana, to share. Ksha means to inspire. La dane, ksha prerane. Two roots for the two letters of Lakshmi. Thus, Lakshmi is the one who gives us wealth, inspires us to do dharma, results in punya, leads us to moksha. This is how she arbitrates and enters into the wealth that we achieve. So there is also a counterpoint that Sri Sukta takes up. What about the material wealth that is ill-gotten? Is that Lakshmi? Actually, the Sri Sukta calls it as a Lakshmi, that which is not Lakshmi. So how do I know that there is a Lakshmi in my life? How do I know? Now we took all the metrics of how Lakshmi is there in our life. Now to see how Alakshmi is in our life, the Sri Sukta says Kshut and Pipasa. Kshut means hunger, Pipasa means thirst. Two things. And at elemental level, hunger and thirst are not harmful. In fact, it is necessary for self-preservation. Elemental level. How do I say it is not harmful? Because you will say enough. When we say enough, we are compelled to say enough, then it is harmless. How much water can you drink? At one point of time, you must say, I don't need any more water. How much food you can eat? There has to be a point when you say, I cannot eat even 1 spoon more. So therefore, the elemental hunger and thirst is not bad, because you will say enough. What about hunger for power? Thirst for power? Hunger for dominance? The thirst to abuse the vulnerable? And the thirst for wealth? It is a never-ending thirst. It is a never-ending hunger. And therefore, Sri Sukta calls this as Jeshta Lakshmi, Alakshmi. Elder Lakshmi. And we want to drive her away from our life. That's why the Sukta says, Alakshmim nashayamyam. I actually destroy the Alakshmi. What is this acquisition, endless acquisition? I'm sure you have all played the tower block game. You know, you take the tower block and then arrange them one upon the other. And the skill is to make sure that it doesn't fall off. So depending on how skillful you are, you can go on building the tower block. At one point of time, it will not sustain one extra block. That's the tipping point. It will fall down. Kshut and Pipasa for wealth and for power is of that quality. At one point of time, it is going to destroy the person who pursues the Jyeshtha Lakshmi or Alakshmi. We saw the symbols for Lakshmi: Kirti, Tushti, Shanti. So what are the symbols of this Alakshmi, the Jyeshtha Lakshmi? Sri Sukta identifies it as Abhutim Asamruddhinja. Bhuti means wealth. Abhuti means penury. Even if you have $1 billion, if you are not satisfied, you are a poor person. Isn't it? Because it is abhuti. And samruddhi means plentiful. Samruddhi is where we have or think that there is severe shortage. How much of land is enough for me? Here we have Alexander. What an irony, we call him as Alexander the Great, because he went on conquering one country or the other. And unfortunately, he never got an opportunity to enjoy what he had conquered. His tower collapsed. What he pursued was this Alakshmi. And therefore we say, please, let me not be attached to this Alakshmi. I will root it out from the depth of my mind. Alakshmim nashayamyam abhutim asamruddhincha. From where? Sarvan nirnudame grihat. That is why we sweep our home every day. We sweep our puja room every single day. Please contemplate, when I am sweeping the house, when I am sweeping my puja room, Sri Sukta encourages us to contemplate. Here, I am actually sweeping away the Alakshmi, Abhuti, Asamruddhi. Interestingly, Sri also means our sense organs. Look at the human face. In the human face, the organs of all knowledge is in the face itself. We identify Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha. 5 sources of knowledge. We get knowledge of the world through sound, Shabda, which we hear from our ears, which is in the face. The skin of the face has the sense of touch, Sparsha. Eyes look form, Rupa. Our nose can smell, Rasa. Gandha. And our tongue can taste, Rasa. All the 5 are in the face. And that is why the face is called Sri. And when we commence speaking, the word for preamble in Sanskrit is Sri Mukham, because it comes from the face. And a person who has all the five sense organs, and all the five sense organs are used for dharma, such a person is called Shriman. And such a woman is called Srimati. That means one who uses all the five sense organs represented by her face and represents Shri. So we call that person as Shriman and Srimati, which popularly we say Mr. Mrs. For whom, next question, for whom does Sri Lakshmi give her blessings? The sukta itself talks about it. Yashuche prayato bhutva, yashuche prayataha. Let us take that phrase. The one who is Sri Kamaha, desiring of Sri, Sri Kamaha, please note, Sri Kamaha, not Dhana Kamaha, not Shakti Kamaha. One who is desirous of Sri, we have defined Sri, wealth, grace, beauty, generosity, and virtues. This is the quality of Sri. Only when he comes to Lakshmi, Shuchihi Bhutva. Shuchi means purity. Most of the time, we interpret Shuchi as taking a bath and wearing laundered clothes. It's much more than that. It is just a symbol that we take bath and that is hygiene. That is all. But what is the real Shuchi? The real Shuchi is Kaya, Vacha, Manasa, Shuchihi. Bodily, there must be purity. In speech, there must be purity. We'll take up a study of Vak Sukta to look at what is glorious, perfect speech as envisaged by our sages in one of the future presentations. And mind, Manasa. And in this way, Shuchihi Prayataha Bhutva, look at the clause the sage introduces, Satatam. All the time, without any break. It is not just during the puja one has to be pure. It's not just during the puja that one has to approach Shri. All the time. With the right resolve, it's called Satsankalpa. Making every moment auspicious. That is why we always start by saying, Tadeva Lagnam, Sudinam Tadeva, Tarabalam, Chandrabalam Tadeva, Vidyabalam, Daivabalam Tadeva. When? Yatra Harihi Prang Namaskriyate. That's the original shloka. Tadeva Lagnam, Sudinam Tadeva, Tarabalam, Chandrabalam Tadeva, Vidyabalam, Daivabalam Tadeva, Lakshmi Pate Tengri Yugam Smarami is how we start the ritual. But the rule for doing that is established by the Dharma Shastra, where Yatra Harihi Prang Namaskriyate, Yatra where Harihi Mahavishnu, Prak means before starting, before. Prak means before, Namaskriyate. When you prostrate before Mahavishnu, before you do anything, with this Vaishnavi Shakti, Shri will come and that moment will become a sacred moment. Satatam means constant. Not just constant in a timeline. Satatam also means Vidhivat. It is to be done in a proper manner. Vidhivat. What is this Vidhivat? That which has got, according to Shvetashvatara Upanishad, that which has got Bhakti, Shraddha, Jnana, Yoga. 4 qualities are required. And that if 4 qualities are there, then Lakshmi will come there. We also invoke Lakshmi along with her 3 sons. The Sri Sukta identifies 3 of her children, Kardama, Ananda, and Chiklita. These are the 3 rishis of the Sri Sukta. Then, which is the Devata? We are talking about Lakshmi, we are talking about Sri, we are talking about Vishnu. Are they the Devata that we are worshipping in Sri Sukta, or is there a different Devata? If you look at the internal evidence of Sri Sukta, we are actually worshipping Agni, Jataveda. Jataveda is another name for Agni. Jatavedo Ma'avaha. Please bring Lakshmi to me, O Jataveda Agni. That means the presence of Lakshmi in our life is revealed by Agni. The Agni in which you are doing the worship, and Vaishvanara Agni which is within ourselves. And this Lakshmi, it gives us such wealth that makes us observe Dharma. It establishes us in Dharma and establishes Dharma in society. Because in society, in body politic, if Dharma is going down, Bhagavad Vakya is there. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bharata. It is going to come back. Time will come. And Lakshmi perpetuates Dharma through institutions. If our institutions such as temples and gurukulas, even though they are sometimes we feel they are tottering, but the fact that they are still there means Mahalakshmi is there protecting us. So let us see how we can summarize what we have studied so far. Number 1, Shri is the source for jnana, knowledge, and for Aishwarya, for wealth, for sukha, for comfort, for arogya, good health, dhana, resources, dhanya, food, and jaya, success, necessary and resources for doing dharma. So she makes sure that we have all these things so that we will take up, and that is how she arbitrates. The arbitration process is giving us knowledge, wealth, comfort, good health, etc. Then our prayer must not be for transient wealth, but for that wealth which is everlasting and all auspicious, and therefore we call Lakshmi as Sarva Mangala. How carefully our sages use the words. She is Sarva Mangala. To ensure that Sarva Mangala is there and to drive away Alakshmi and to create an altar, we have to do it in our heart, in our mind, in our home. That is why during the Griha Pravesha, actually we established Shrihi Achala Prana Pratishta. She will be established permanently. And that altar must always be made pure. Satatam Shuchihi. The next point I made was the cleansing agents to make sure that Alakshmi is not there are 4 in number: Shraddha, Bhakti, Jnana, and Yoga. Then the next point I made was that Shri, that Lakshmi is the one who brings us Sukha and leads us to Dharma. And Shrihi, ever present, she inspires us always to do Dharma because she is all the time, you have done Achala Prana Pratishta. What is such a household called? A household where there is true Shri. Please listen to Sri Krishna, Bhagavad Gita chapter 6 verse number 41. He calls it as Shuchihi Srimatam Gehe. Geha means house. a household which is pure Shuchihi and Shrimantaha. I have defined the word Shriman. And then the Jiva, which in the past lives that have done tapas, they will also take birth in our house. This flow of Lakshmi is not limited to just our lives. Promise of Bhagavan Sri Krishna. Prapya punyakritam lokam ushitva shashvatim samaha shuchinam shrimatam gehe yoga bhrashto abhijayate. Our house becomes a ground, a place to invoke such jivas who have done enormous amount of punya. If all of you have wonderful children, it is because you have established Shri in your house. A beautiful Sanskrit Subhashita invokes Lakshmi into our own being, so we can achieve dharma and moksha. Lovely, one of my most favorite Subhashitas. Vaktrabje Bhagya Lakshmi, the Lakshmi of good wealth and success, let her be shining in my face. Karatala Kamale Sarvada Dhanya Lakshmi. In my hand, in my possession, there will always be, may there always be food and generosity in my hand to share with everyone. Dordande Virya Lakshmi, power in my arms to combat all the difficulties and challenges, like our hero, the king I talked, he asked for dairya only, courage only. Hridaya Sarasije Bhuta Karunya Lakshmi. In my heart, the Lakshmi that evokes compassion towards all living beings. Khadgagre Shaurya Lakshmi, in the sword of my intellect, let there be valor. A person of intellect shall never be cowed down by any difficulty, challenge in his life when Lakshmi is there. Nikhila Guna Ganadambare Kirti Lakshmi. For every virtue demonstrated by this Shriman, that Kirti, the fame, is the evidence of Lakshmi. And Sarvange Saumya Lakshmi. In every limb of the body, let there be piety and let there be gentleness. Sapadi bhavatu me dharma mokshartha siddhi. Sapadi means immediately. May I get the success in dharma followed by moksha. Thus you will see, by giving wealth, food, power, fame, and when our intellect is full of Shraddha, Bhakti, Jnana, Yoga, then Lakshmi becomes the true arbiter of Dharma, which is the threshold of moksha. And the threshold is where we established Lakshmi in Achala Prana Pratishtha. And therefore, we have the Torana, we do the Haridra Kunkma Puja for the threshold. Thank you very much. With this, we will conclude a brief study of Shri. Before I chant the Shanti Mantra, if there are any questions, we have a few minutes.
So this is Narayan. So can you all hear me? So one thing I wanted to add on the Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya, the Ramanujacharya took the Sharanagati from first, before approaching Narayana, he went and approached Lakshmi. On Pankuni Uttara Day in Srirangam, he recited a very famous Gadyam, that's called Gadya Trayam, which is Sriranga Gadyam, Sharanagadi Gadyam, and Vaikunta Gadyam.
Vaikuntha. Vaikuntha.
So that is why in any Sri Vaishnava temple, the tradition is first to go and pray Lakshmi and then only approach Narayana. So Narayana is the one who is going to give the moksha, but Lakshmi, your title says she is the arbiter. She is the one who is going to recommend. He is worthy, he is my child, he is our child. I know that you are going to look at all his papas, but like he made some good deeds in his life. Why don't you ignore those minor things and grant him the moksha? So when Lakshmi grants that, Narayana will not reject. So that's why our temple also, when you enter, first Lakshmi Sannidhi is there, you should worship and then only go to the Vishnu Sannidhi. So that's a good one we have also. Thank you.
That's why we always do first Goptrutva Varanam, that she will actually protect. And then there also has to be a Karpanyam saying without you, I cannot be. So there is this standard methodology. So in Sharanagati, in that the Prapatti, we go to Mahalakshmi, as you rightly said, because she is the one who inspires the Goptrutva Varanam. Thank you.
Over to you, Sagar uncle, for a concluding speech.
Mute lo unnaru meeru, Sagar garu. Yeah.
Sagar uncle, you are on mute.
Okay. Now, can you hear me?
Yes.
Ashwath Garu, chala thanks, namaskaram. You say you are away from the temple, but we say you are part of our temple. So you are not different from our temple. You are part of it. You are a Jnani, and through you are giving your Jnanodyam for others through our temple, and we are very happy to have you. We are lucky to have you. Although distance doesn't matter, when you think of Jnana, Bhakti, distance doesn't matter. So you are part of us. Thank you very much for your explanation. We always think about Lakshmi, only one thing, Dhana Lakshmi only. We do not think about Jnana Lakshmi, many other Lakshmi that you have explained. Obviously, you are a guru, and I say Guru Bhyo Namah. Thank you very much for the presentation. Thank you. We look forward to hearing more about other devatas, such as it came to my mind when we are talking about Lakshmi, Saraswati, because we are talking about Jnana and how the relationship of Saraswati and Lakshmi in relation to Narayana.
We will take up the Vak Sukta and the Saraswati Sukta next month.
Thank you.
Thank
There
you.
is one person, raised their hand.
Sure.
Uncle, namaste, Mridula Illi.
Namaskara. Yeah, Teddy.
Then my question is, we seem to be living in a world that lives in high inflationary times, and everybody is, like Sagar uncle just mentioned, we're only perhaps becoming more and more focused on acquiring wealth and wealth for ourselves when we grow old, wealth for our children so they may be able to lead good lives, wealth so that we can take care of our own parents, wealth in different forms. We seem to be, I hate to use the word chasing, but I think that is what we are all somehow doing. So when we live in times like this, how do we recognize how much is enough? We might be already doing that. How do we identify that within ourselves? And if we are not doing it, what are some ways of grounding ourselves in the Lakshmi that helps us identify that this much is enough? You are good with this.
The first is gratitude is always very essential. Another thing is Shraddha, Bhakti, Jnana, Yoga, the 4 key points that I talked about. Then what happens is what I have now, I thank you, but you clearly identify the need that you have for, as you mentioned, somebody about whom you are concerned. And that desire should be limited to removing that particular dukkha or particular challenge only and not anything beyond. Then we are actually expressing tripti.
That's true.
Okay.
Okay.
That I think is a good metric to have. At least one small step towards the next goal.
That is why Sarvabhuta Karunya, one of the points that I mentioned. So when we become compassionate to other living beings, to that extent, we don't think of ourselves. To that extent, isn't it?
Yeah.
But we take good care of ourselves again for the purpose saying that, I want to be healthy, I want to be sharp in my mind so that I can serve others. So suddenly now the purpose as to why I should be healthy, why I should be strong, gets a spiritual reason.
Okay. Understood, Uncle. Thank you.
Swati, namaste.
Thank you.
This is Chitu.
Happening.
You said about Dhairya Lakshmi,
Uh-huh.
and that was the last. And Mrudulaji's answer, Kabir has said that Kabira Dheeraj ke dhare hathi man bhar khai. Because of Dhairya Lakshmi, hathi eats tons and tons of food. Tuk tuk bekar mein shwan ghar ghar jaye. Because not having dhairya, a dog has to go from house to house.
Yes, wonderful. Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This is Glenn.
Yes, Dr. Shukla, yes. Om Purnamada Purnamida Purnat
Purnamuchyate
Purnasya Purnamatya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Shanti Hari Om.
Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
one. We'll meet next month.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Namaskara.
Namaskara.